Okay, so $6.248 billion.
Yeah,
That's the projected number for the global joint pain injection market just in 2025. It's kind of staggering when you think about it.
it really is. Billions just to tackle those aches and pains.
Exactly. So today, we're not just going to glance at that number. We're really diving deep into the market report that sits behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Think of this as your quick way to get up to speed, understand the players, what's driving this, huge demand, and really where it's all heading.
Right. Getting the core insights without wading through hundreds of pages.
Precisely. Our mission today, unpack the global joint pain injection scene. We're talking current size, future growth, regional differences, and the actual types of injections and, well, how they reach people.
And that initial figure, the 6.2 billion, it's definitely a hook.
Yeah.
But like the report shows, it's over 250 pages, data updated just this March that's really just scratching the surface.
Okay.
What gets really interesting is where the predictions say this market is going.
Absolutely. So this report sees it surging, right, up to, what, $14.2953 billion by 2033.
That's the number. More than doubling in, what is that, 8 years?
Wow. So what's the engine behind that kind of incredible expansion?
Well, the report flags a pretty significant compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of 10.90% from 2025 through 2033.
Okay. 10.9%.
Yeah. And you look at the why, it's really a mix of things coming together. First off, you've got the rising number of people with osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. That's a major boost to sales, obviously.
More people needing relief, basically.
Exactly. More conditions mean more demand for treatments.
And I guess with people generally living longer these days, the aging population has to be a huge piece of this too.
Oh, without a doubt. A larger elderly population, well, it just inherently means more folks susceptible to joint problems. So that pushes demand up.
Makes sense.
And beyond demographics, we're also seeing some really interesting progress in regenerative medicine.
Ah, okay. Like what?
Things like PRP, that's platelet-rich plasma, and stem cell injections. These newer approaches are really gaining traction, and they're adding significantly to the market's growth.
Regenerative medicine. So it sounds like treatments that might do more than just, mask the pain.
That's the idea, precisely. And, this ties into another key driver. People increasingly want pain management options that are minimally invasive.
Right. Avoiding surgery if possible.
Exactly. A lot of people are actively looking for alternatives, and injections fit that bill really well.
Okay, so it sounds like this massive growth trajectory, but are there any speed bumps? Anything holding the market back at all?
Yeah, that's a good point. There are potential limitations. One big one is cost.
Yeah.
Some of the more advanced injections, especially hyaluronic acid and biologics.
Biologics like PRP and stem cells.
Exactly. Those fall under that umbrella. Medications derived from living sources, often targeting specific inflammation pathways. They can be quite expensive.
Okay, so access might be an issue.
It can be, yeah, limiting who can actually afford them. And then there's the whole regulatory side. Getting new therapies approved is a tough process, rightly so. Plus, you always have potential side effects to consider, infections, allergic reactions. Those things can definitely influence how widely these get adopted.
Right, right. Costs and safety, always huge factors in healthcare. Now, the report also mentions some key trends shaping things. What should we be watching?
Well, what's really standing out is the increasing use of those biologic injections. We were just talking about PRP, stem cell therapy. The medical world seems to be recognizing their potential for maybe better effectiveness long term.
Okay, more uptake there.
Yeah. And we're also seeing tech improvements in the existing injections, like development of sustained release or longer-acting corticosteroid shots. The goal there is better pain management, fewer injections needed for the patient.
Longer leave, fewer doctor visits. Sounds like a win for patients. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. How does this whole market look geographically? Is it pretty evenly spread, or are there big regional differences?
Oh, big differences. If you look at the 2025 revenue numbers, North America is the clear leader.
Sure.
It holds over 40% of the global market. We're talking USD $2,311.76 million.
Wow, over 40%, and within North America.
The U.S. is dominant, naturally, about $1.8 billion of that. Then Canada, then Mexico. And the drivers there are pretty clear. High rates of joint conditions, good access to advanced therapies. People are generally aware of healthcare options. Insurance helps. And that trend towards non-surgical options is strong there.
Okay, that fits the picture we often see. What about Europe? How does it stack up?
Europe's the second biggest. It accounts for just over 30% of the global revenue, so around $1.8 billion in 2025 as well.
Still very significant.
Very. Key countries are the UK, Germany, France, Russia, Spain, Italy, each with slightly different growth rates, but all contributing. And the drivers, pretty similar to North America, actually. Aging population, growing awareness of non-invasive treatments, tech advancements, and, significant healthcare spending overall.
So North America and Europe are the current heavyweights, but I think I saw something about Asia Pacific growing the fastest.
You absolutely did. That's a key point. So APAC currently has about 23% market share, roughly 1.5 billion USD in 2025.
But the growth is where the story is.
Exactly. It's expected to have the highest key AGR, 13.7% between 2025 and 2033.
13.7%, that's huge.
It is. Countries like China, India, Southeast Asian nations, Singapore, they're all showing really strong upward movement.
And why is that? What's fueling that surge in APAC?
It's a combination, really. You've got a massive and aging population there, too. Rising rates of osteoarthritis. People are becoming more aware of non-surgical options. Healthcare infrastructure is improving, access is getting better, and disposable incomes are rising across much of the region.
Okay.
And that rapid growth in APAC, for you listening, that could mean shifts in global competition, maybe affecting future availability, or even pricing of these treatments elsewhere. It's something to watch.
That's a really important implication.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what about the other regions? South America, Middle East, Africa, how do they fit in?
Sure. So South America has just over 5% of the market. Around $237 million in 2025, growing at about 11.6% CAGR. Brazil, Argentina, Colombia are the main players. Drivers there include lots of musculoskeletal issues, growing awareness of minimally invasive options, and better healthcare infrastructure being built out. The Middle East is smaller, around 2%, about $250 million in 2025, but growing quite fast too, at 12.2% CAGR. Think Saudi Arabia, UAE, Turkey. Again, aging populations, osteoarthritis cases, treatment awareness, and healthcare spending are key factors.
Got it. And Africa?
Africa is about 1% of the global market currently, roughly $137 million in 2025, with an expected growth rate of 11.2% CGR. South Africa and Nigeria are the key markets mentioned. Drivers there include osteoarthritis prevalence, sometimes limited access to advanced surgical care, which might push people towards injections, and also, interestingly, growing medical tourism in some parts.
It's fascinating how the drivers shift slightly depending on the region's context. Okay, so the report also slices the market differently, right? Like which joints are treated most, which injection types are popular, and how they're distributed.
It does, yeah. Very useful breakdown. So if you look at the joint type, knee and ankle is the dominant segment right now.
Makes sense. Lots of osteoarthritis there, sports injuries.
Exactly. Those joints take a lot of wear and tear. But interestingly, the report flags the facet joints of the spine as the fastest growing segment.
The spine? Why is that growing so fast?
Well, it's likely tied to the rise in spinal disorders. You could speculate maybe more sedentary lifestyles are playing a role there.
That's plausible. More sitting, more back issues, driving demand for those specific injections. Okay, what about the injection types themselves?
Right. So by injection type, corticosteroid injections still hold the largest market share. They're kind of the established workhorse.
Because they work fast for inflammation.
Pretty much. They're known for reducing inflammation and providing relatively quick pain relief. But hyaluronic acid injections are expanding really rapidly.
HA injections. What's the appeal there?
They tend to offer longer-lasting relief compared to corticosteroids, and they also help with lubricating the joint, so they're becoming a really popular choice for people looking for more sustained benefits.
Okay, so corticosteroids for quick hits, HA for potentially longer-lasting effects, and lubrication. That's a helpful way to think about it. And how do these actually get to patients? Distribution channels.
Looking at distribution, hospital pharmacies have the biggest share currently. A lot of these injections are given in hospitals or specialized clinics, under expert supervision.
Centralized point of care.
Right. But, and this mirrors trends everywhere, online pharmacies are emerging as a really fast-growing channel.
Convenience factor, I guess.
Big time. Convenience, accessibility.
Yeah.
It's becoming a much more significant way people get healthcare products, including potentially these types of treatments or related supplies.
Yeah, that online shift is happening across the board. Okay, lastly, the report briefly mentions the competitive side. Who are the main companies and what are they focusing on?
It's definitely a competitive space. You have companies really focused on innovation, especially in that regenerative area. We talked about PRP, stem cells. That's where a lot of R&D seems to be happening.
Trying to find the next big thing.
Exactly. And you also see strategic moves, like partnerships between companies or larger companies acquiring smaller ones with promising tech. The report mentions Anika Therapeutics and Sanofi as examples of players active in that kind of strategy.
So established pharma giants alongside maybe newer biotech firms.
Yeah, it's that kind of mix, a dynamic landscape for sure. You got the big players, but also need to watch emerging companies specializing in novel injection therapies.
Okay, great. So let's try and pull this all together. If we were to summarize the absolute key takeaways from this deep dive, what would they be?
I'd say first, the joint pain injection market is already huge, and it's set for really significant growth. That's mainly driven by aging populations worldwide and this clear patient preference for less invasive treatments.
Right, big market, getting bigger.
Second, there are major regional differences. North America and Europe lead now, but Asia Pacific is where the really explosive growth is projected. Keep an eye on that.
Okay, APAC's growth is key.
Third, regarding the treatments themselves. Corticosteroids are dominant now, but biologics and hyaluronic acid injections are definitely gaining ground fast. And fourth, distribution. Hospital pharmacies are the main channel, but online pharmacies are rapidly growing in importance.
That covers it pretty well. It really paints a picture of a complex, multi-billion-dollar industry. It's amazing how many factors feed into what seems like, a relatively straightforward treatment.
It really is. And maybe that leaves you, the listener, with something to think about. Considering all these trends we've discussed, the rise of biologics, that rapid APAC growth, the online shift, what does the future of personalized pain management look like? And maybe more importantly, how accessible and equitable will these advanced treatments become for people all around the globe?
Hmm.
It's definitely a complex picture, constantly evolving, and with real potential to impact a lot of lives dealing with joint pain.